Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over this little pistol that you see in my hands right here. This is the Generation 5 Glock 26 pistol, chambered in 9mm for those that don't know. This one here happens to be a US produced one, and the way you can tell is on the left side of the slide it will say USA, and on the right side, both on the frame and slide, there will be a little Georgia shaped outline with a P in it. That is their proof mark. However, the Austrian made ones will be pretty much identical with one exception that we'll get to here in just a second. So what we're going to do here is do a little bit more shooting with it, let you guys see how it's working, how it's running with different types of ammo, and then come back and get into the details, sort of working our way at the bottom all the way up. Starting down here at the bottom, it comes with 3 10-round magazines, and there are a ton of different aftermarket mags available for Glock pistols, which we'll get into as well a little bit later on if that's the route you want to go. You've probably also seen me shooting it with the factory +2 extension on there. This one gives you 12 rounds plus one in the chamber, obviously 13 rounds, but it does stick out a little bit further. One thing people like about that, though, is that you can get all 3 fingers around it. Pros and cons there, I suppose, but I like it for sure. And one thing that's nice about the Glock standard frame size pistols that's nice is that any of their bigger brothers mags will work. So you can put Glock 19 mags in there, Glock 17, Glock 19X mags like this to get yourself 19 plus 1. You can also put the 33 round standard capacity Glock 18 mags in there as well if you want to carry that, say, as like a spare or a backup to give yourself a little bit extra capacity. Should you need it, you can do so. So that definitely is an advantage to these pistols. All of the Gen 5 pistols come with 4 different back straps now. So they come with a medium and a large, which will make the frame a little bit bigger for folks with larger hands. For those that don't know, the medium one will make it the same circumference as a Gen 1 through 4 pistol. And then the large one will make it a little bit larger, as you would imagine. They also come with a beaver tail option for folks who get slide bite. If you have like really meaty hands, sometimes when the slide comes back, it will start cutting in, and that beaver tail design is there to stop that from happening. Continuing up on the left side of the pistol, we have our magazine release. It's oversized compared to the Gens 1 through 3, which is nice. I do like it. It's not so big though that you're going to accidentally bump it. I never have anyway. And it is not ambidextrous, which I like as well. However, it is reversible. So if you want to swap it out and have it over here for you lefties, you can do so. Simply just use a screwdriver to move a spring, swap it. It's very, very simple. Lots of tutorials on YouTube, I'm sure, on that front. And continuing up, we do have ambidextrous slide lock and slide release levers. Now, this is part of the Gen 5 series. A lot of people like it. I've seen no issue with it. One thing I would say is that whatever finish they're putting on these slide lock, slide releases, compared to the rest of the gun, they simply don't hold up all that well. That's across the board on Gen 5s that I've used, and I've used a ton of them. Finish wear is very quick. I don't think it actually matters and will hurt anything performance-wise, but just something to take note of there. The grip has a very similar texture to the Gen 4 guns. If you're familiar with that, it's going to feel similar in your hand. It's definitely an improvement, in my opinion, over the 1 through 3. Gives you a little bit more aggression, so that way if you're out shooting in hot conditions and your hands are sweaty, or if you're just under stress and you're using your gun in a defensive situation, you do have a little bit more grip on there, so that's good. One thing I wish Glock did, but didn't do on the Gen 5s, was undercut their trigger guard a little bit more. A lot of aftermarket companies will do that, and folks just do it with a Dremel as well. But what that does, it just allows you to get a little bit higher on the gun. It gives you a little bit more control over it. They didn't do it for whatever reason. Who knows? Maybe in the Gen 6 version. Continuing forward on the frame, we do have our takedown lever that we'll get to in just a second. And then out here on the dust cover with the Glock 26s, we do not have a rail for lights, lasers, etc. However, there are some options out there for those of you guys that want to use those. My recommendation would be the Streamlight TLR6. They're excellent and fit right on here. And there's plenty of holster options available for that combo because Glocks are pretty popular. So we'll also get into the trigger right now. Make sure we are unloaded, and we are. Now I should mention this one here has the smooth face trigger, and that is because it's a US made gun, so 922R doesn't apply. The Austrian made guns will have the serrated trigger on there, but feel and function will be exactly the same. We do have that trigger safety on there, so no matter how hard I pull the trigger, if I don't actually depress that safety, it will not go bang. So that's one of the safeties on all Glock pistols. There's no external safeties, which is a pro in my opinion, but there's a couple internal safeties. So the trigger on the Gen 5s is the best of the factory Glock triggers to date, in my opinion. We have good, predictable take-up. It's kind of spongy, but when you're actually shooting, it's not something you're ever going to notice. And then we get to a wall, very predictable, and a very clean break. It's much better than any of the other generations, in my opinion. And the reset, relatively short, pretty tactile, pretty audible. I know lots of people out there will be running and racing to drop aftermarket triggers in. If that's you, that's fine. However, in my opinion, if you can't shoot this gun well with this trigger, your practice is probably a better investment in terms of ammo and time than putting in an aftermarket trigger, but that's my 2 cents anyway. Continuing on up to the slide, it does have a NDLC finish, which is excellent. It's a diamond-like coating. And I have several pistols with that finish. I have several bolt carrier groups for AR-15s with that finish. And the stuff holds up really well, smooth, it's slick, good corrosion resistance. It's good to go, in my opinion. There's nothing wrong with the slide finish at all. This particular Gen 26, because this is an earlier Gen 5, only has serrations here in the rear. I believe all the current production ones now, as I'm filming this video, have front serrations, just for what it's worth. Sights on this pistol, I'm laughing because many who watch the channel here know that I go on rants about Glock polymer sights frequently because they're simply terrible. They fall off randomly, they'll shoot off when you're just shooting the gun. I even saw a front sight one time come off when a guy was taking his gun out of a holster. So they're terrible, and honestly Glock should be embarrassed to send them out. However, this one has the factory 3-dot night sights on there because this pistol was sent out to me at the request of Big Daddy Unlimited. They sent it out for the review and possibly to carry as I go forward, like I said. But they sent the one with the 3-dot night sights because they watch my videos and they know I hate the plastic sights. They're good sights, 3-dot with a square notch, basic white outline around the front. They're good to go. However, I don't really love them, but there's no real cause to swap them out if you shoot them fine, and I certainly do. So we have the takedown up next, so we'll get into the internals. You want to obviously make sure that we are unloaded, and we are. At this point the gun in a safe direction, pull the trigger, pull the slide back approximately 1/2 inch to 1/8 of an inch, and pull down on these 2 levers. Your slide will come off. I have a full video on the detail cleaning and stuff like that on Glock pistols if you guys are interested in that, but it looks pretty Glock-like on the interior. We do have a dual recoil spring, all steel, which is nice. I know a lot of folks do like that. And then we have our Glock Marksman barrel right here. The Marksman barrels are really good. They have an improved crown over the earlier ones. They have a different type of rifling in there. Some folks debate whether or not it's still polygonal or polygonal, depending on how you say it. What I would say, and Glock hasn't said officially one way or another either, but what I would say is I would still use caution if you're going to be shooting lead bullets, like lead reloads through it, because it may still foul up like traditional polygonal rifling does. And reassembly, of course, very simple as well. In terms of maintenance, that's definitely one of Glock's strong suits. There's a lot of good, easy to maintain guns now, but when Glock came out, that wasn't the case. So that was part of their sort of a Glock innovation at the time, and it's continued forward into the Gen 5s. Whenever I posted pictures of this gun on social media, a lot of folks ask why not just get the Glock 43X. So we'll talk about that here real quick. One of the big advantages I already went into is that the 26 takes all the bigger mags. So I realize there's some companies that claim they're making higher capacity magazines for the 43X. I haven't seen them yet to date. They may be out there, who knows. But in terms of overall length with the slide, the pistols are identical in that regard. Functionally, they may be a millimeter off or whatever the case may be, but in terms of height, you guys can see there that the grip on the 43X does extend a good bit longer. It's actually 19 length, but it's also much thinner, right? So it really depends what you're looking for in terms of how you carry and how you grip your gun. The 43X will allow you to get a full grip on the gun with all 3 fingers. Again, 26, depending on the magazine, may or may not. Just a few minutes ago, I mentioned that there are a ton of holster options available out there, and the ones I've been using throughout the video, you guys have probably seen it, are from Hidden Hybrid Holsters. This one here is an inside the waistband or outside the waistband rig. I believe you can actually put a larger Glock model in there as well. However, as you guys can see, I've been using it a lot. I've been carrying this gun for sure, and it's kind of form-fitted to the pistol already, and it's super comfortable. I have 0 issues with it at all. Definitely a fan. And then I also have one of their single hook rigs. Haven't used this one too much. I'm not a huge appendix carrier. It has that wing that a lot of appendix guys like, but if you guys dig that, those are options that I would recommend. Now, reliability, let's talk about that. With factory Glock magazines, any size, you know, all the way up to the 33 rounders, this pistol has been 100% reliable with any ammo we've put through it, to include about 100 rounds of Federal HST and 100 rounds of 124 grain gold dots as well. Got some 147 grain HSTs in there, see how it'll do. The Glock should do fine, we will see. So hollow points, whatever, Minuteman Munitions has been the majority of it. It eats them all up without question. One exception to that is going to be with the Magpul magazines. So I requested these from Magpul to be sent out. They sent out 2 of them, and this is their 12 round Glock 26 magazine, and we had problems with it. Every magazine, unfortunately, in this particular gun, we would have false slide locks. So I'm not sure what it is with how the magazine maybe interfaces with the ambidextrous slide lock, slide release lever, but we were getting them over and over again, regardless of ammo. I tried shooting it one-handed, tried shooting it left-handed, just to see if it was me accidentally hitting the slide stop, slide lever. It wasn't. Again, it never happened with a factory magazine, and it happened every mag with the Magpul mags. Do the Magpul G26 mags work? We'll see. Not a good sign, not a good start. We'll see. So I was like, what's going on here? So I took my Gen 3 and my Gen 4 Glock 26s out to the range with these mags and put about 50 rounds through each with both mags. Had 0 issues at all. They ran 100%. So I contacted Magpul. They didn't know what was going on. And obviously I didn't send them the gun or anything. I just kind of let them know, like, hey, those mags you guys sent out, this is what's happening. And they said they hadn't heard of it before. So I don't know if it's just a one-off with this one gun and these 2 mags. I have no idea, but that's just for what it's worth in terms of reliability. Again, they run fine in all my other 26s. So there is that. Overall right now, this gun has just under 1,000 rounds. And like I said, outside of those mags has been awesome and big fan of it. Reliability is there for sure. Price point on this one. So like I said, Big Daddy Unlimited did send this one out, and Big Daddy Unlimited, for those that don't know, is sort of like Costco for guns, i.e. you have to be a member to see the prices and to get their good deals, because it's like a wholesale club. So looking around today online, outside of Blue Label guns, which are only available for like military law enforcement folks, they had the best price on this gun, bar none. However, due to map, I can't exactly post it here, but it is what it is. Again, the link will be down below if you guys want to sign up. They have their 99-cent trial membership still going on for a first month. If you guys just want to get in there and see the prices, take advantage of the price on this and maybe some other things. But yeah, thank you very much for Big Daddy Unlimited to sending it out. But price point wise, I would say, without saying the actual price, it's kind of going to ding the Glocks a little bit. And the reason I say that is, number one, again, they normally ship out with factory plastic sites. And then number two, that even with that, they're generally speaking $100 to $150 more expensive than some competitive offerings from like Smith & Wesson and their M&P 2.0 series, some of the CZ models that are out there that are competitive offerings. There's several companies making great striker polymer framed compact guns these days, and Glock seems to be on the higher end of that list. That said, some people, generally speaking, myself included, are okay with that, simply because we want the Glock reliability that we've come to know. Also, the grip angle is a pro and a con for a lot of people. A lot of folks will naturally shoot these high when they come out to present, just because the grip angle is so different from most pistols, which are like 1911 M&P style angles. But if you're like me and you kind of grew up, quote unquote, shooting Glocks. Like the first gun I ever shot was a Glock 22, and I've been shooting Glocks my entire adult life. It's almost natural at this point. So pros and cons there, but they're definitely good guns. I'm not going to ding it outside of the sights, which I've already beat that horse to death. And all in all, I've been very happy with the performance. If you guys have any questions about the pistol that I didn't discuss here, by all means, you can post down below in the comment section. However, the best place to reach me is over at my Facebook page. I answer all the messages that I get over there, whether it be 1 or 3 days, I will get to you eventually. I get a lot of them, and there's just one of me. So just cut me a little slack there if you do have a question. That is definitely the best place to reach me, though. If you guys are subscribed to the channel, I truly appreciate it. If you're not and you like this kind of video, I ask you kindly to subscribe. If you're subscribed and you're not seeing 2 to 3 videos at minimum a week, definitely hit the notification bell so it shows up a little bit more reliably in your subscription feed. If you've done that and you're still not seeing them, highly recommend you sign up for my email. I send 1 email out a week. It's not super spammy, it's just all the videos that I put up that week and probably 2 or 3 good deals that I find along the way that could save you guys some money. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. I look forward to seeing all of you in the next video.